Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Today we shall discuss on inclusive pedagogy and nature of the students with disabilities. As you know, I have already hinted in my last class about the nature of the classroom, nature of the multicultural classroom. There I have already discussed with you. Present classroom does not consist of normal students with different socio-cultural backgrounds. Rather, it includes students with different types of disabilities. Both the disabled students and able students from different socio-cultural background are studying in our school, particularly in the context of a Navodaya Vidyalaya. We find different types of disabled students in the classroom. So we must हमको मालूम होना चाहिए कैसे इनको सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, इनको कैसे वी हैव टू डील करेंगे, इनको इनका क्या रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, क्या नीड है, हमको मालूम होना चाहिए. इसलिए दिस क्लासरूम इज और दिस डेलिवरेशन इज. So far as inclusive, as you know, inclusive classroom or inclusive education, previously disabled students are studying in special schools. दूसरा स्कूल इनके लिए था, डेफ एंड डम स्कूल, ब्लाइंड स्कूल. दूसरा टाइप स्कूल मेंटली रिटार्डेड चिल्ड्रन के लिए था, सेपरेट स्कूल था, स्पेशल स्कूल था. अभी that policy has been changed, act has been changed. Persons with Disability Act 2016 in India has come out. Now, disabled students are allowed to study with normal children in the normal classroom with special support. Now we shall discuss with those special supports and what is that inclusive pedagogy. I had discussed with you as a teacher, you must know different modes of teaching, different skills of teaching, different methods of teaching, different techniques of teaching, strategies of teaching. In other words, we say pedagogy. CPT knowledge, I had told that content knowledge is important. At the same time, pedagogical knowledge, art of teaching, skill of teaching, कैसे कौन सा तरीका हमको यूज करना चाहिए सारे बच्चों को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए. We must be aware of those skills, technique, methods, strategies. आज हम इनका बाद में डिस्कशन करेंगे, ऐसे बारे में डिस्कशन करें. So far as disabled students are concerned, I have already told you there are some students who have lost their visions, blind students. They might have lost their vision at the time of birth or After birth, they might have acquired visual loss. And there are again, so far as visual acuity is concerned, it varies in degree. Totally, or we say blind, total blind students, they have lost the entire vision. And other categories we may categorize, that is partially sighted, as you know. They have low visions, and with the help of special appliances, they can, to some extent, or partial, they can see something. Then how to deal with those students? First of all, I may tell you that there are different modes of communication. As a teacher, we use different modes of communication while teaching to the students. कौन से मोड हम यूज करते हैं टीचर और करना चाहिए? We have to know what are the different modes. Inclusive pedagogy includes different modes of communication. Inclusive pedagogy does not mean only one optimal design or method of teaching. It includes varieties of or different modes of communication. First mode, one is visual mode. As a teacher, we use visual mode while teaching in the classroom. Auditory mode, we use in the classroom. Then physical mode, we use in the classroom. Then social mode, we use in the classroom. And so far as visual mode is concerned, it includes use of graphs, pictures, objects which can be seen. We use different teaching learning materials or teaching learning aids which can be visible. Writing, we use blackboard writing. This is visible, visual mode. Graphs, charts, models, we show models, pictures, map, which is visible, which can be visible. Different types of teaching aids which is visible. We say that is visual modes, printing materials, visual materials, video, so far as technology concerned, different technological modes, visual modes, visual aids we use, and that these materials, these aids, these technology come under visual mode of communication. Then second mode, before going to deal with all those things, requirements for different types of students with different disabilities, let me discuss about different modes of communication. क्या क्या मोड ये टीचर यूज करते क्लासरूम में, पहले we have to understand. Second one is the auditory mode, which can be listened. Under auditory modes of communication, we use oral approach, speaking, lecture method, discussion. We discuss so that students can listen to, then audio aids we use. That is what comes under audio modes of communication. Basically, mostly for teaching normal students, we use these modes. in the classroom. Both visual modes and audio modes we use in the classroom. Besides that, there are physical modes of communication. Gesture, posture, smiling. We use smiling, gesture, posture. These are physical modes. Sign language, lip reading, that comes under something physical activities, relating to physical activities. Learning by doing method, physical activities. Performing certain activities, physical activities. Doing some physical activities. We do some physical activities in the classroom. Performing some tasks, hands-on experiences, learning by doing, body language. It may be nodding our head, smiling, lip reading. These come under physical mode of communication. Next one is social mode of communication. Social mode of communication consists of cooperative learning, collaborative learning, group work, group discussion, social modes, group discussion, debate, performance of some programs in a group, co-curricular activities in a group. After all, what is curriculum? On that day, some of your participants, not some, your participants asked question about textbook. Textbook is not curriculum. Be sure. Curriculum is the totality of experiences that children or students gather both from inside the classroom and outside the classroom. Totality of experiences in the laboratory, in the library, the experiences in the field trip, in study tour, in playground, whatever experiences they gather, and they should gather, that come under curriculum. Textbook is not curriculum. You may say part of the curriculum, textbook, because experience that the child gathers inside the classroom, mostly, teacher is supposed to discuss the experiences given in the textbook before the students. You may say that the experiences you describe, or in other words, we describe the experiences already prescribed in the textbook. That's why curriculum means totality of experiences that a student gathers both from inside the classroom as well as outside the classroom. That's why while transacting curriculum, providing experiences to the students, both inside and outside the classroom, we must use different modes of communication, co-curricular activities, group work activities, cooperative learning method, field trip, organization of field trip. Anyway, these are the social modes of communication. You must understand it. And inclusive pedagogy also includes different methods of teaching. Observation method, experimental method, learning by doing method, deductive method, inductive method, analysis methods, synthesis method, narrative storytelling method, narration cum discussion method. Different methods. Inclusive pedagogy includes different methods of teaching. It also includes different skills of teaching. Skill. Minimum we use, so far as Flender is concerned, a successful teacher uses 10 different types of skills in the classroom, not one skill. Even remaining silence is a skill. You remain silence. Silence is a skill of teaching, remember. It provides opportunity to the students to think. It provides time to the student to think. You put question and remain silence. This is a skill. Questioning is a skill. How to put question? Questioning is a skill. Explaining is a skill. Providing blackboard work is a skill. Skill of writing on the blackboard. Skill of using in the blackboard. Skill of using teaching learning aids. So, criticizing the authority, reinforcement, praise, blame, you use in the classroom, skill of using reinforcement, different skills you are using. Reading reinforcement, very good, excellent. After assessing their class notes or assignments, you can write very good, good. That is written reinforcement. Verbal reinforcement we use, that is very good, excellent. We praise students. Non-verbal, we smile, we use different skills of reinforcement. We smile, we pat the back of the student. We nod our head. Nodding our head is a skill also. Smiling is a skill. Different skills, it includes use of different skills. So, inclusive pedagogy includes different modes of communication, as I have already discussed with you. Different methods of teaching, as you know, different skills of teaching, and different ways of assessing students. Inclusive pedagogy also includes different ways of assessing students. It includes, it does not mean only we should use to assess students pen and pencil test, written test. Non-verbal test we can use, performance test we can use, interview, observation technique we can use. We can observe the activities of the student in the classroom, to assess how they are participating in the debate, how they are participating in discussion. We can assess by observation. We can assess by interview. We can assess by oral test. We can assess the student using oral test. That's why pedagogy includes different modes of assessment, variety modes of assessment. It does not mean single method. It does not mean single technique. It does not mean single mode of communication. It does not mean single mode of assessing or means of assessing students' performance, nor it does mean single design for learning or one optimal learning design. Must understand all those things. So far as visually impaired children or blind children concerned, they have lost their vision. ये बच्चे lost their vision. So, for teaching those students in the classroom, you can emphasize on auditory modes, oral approach. You can emphasize on physical mode. You can emphasize on social modes. You can you should not use visual modes because they have lost their vision. Pictures, writing on the blackboard, they cannot be benefited out of visual modes of communication. That's why, so far as method of teaching is concerned, you can use method of assessing is concerned, you can method of teaching is concerned, you can also use physical mode, that is learning by doing mode, performance of certain activities, physical activities. Besides that, they need special appliances like abacus, braille, blind students, braille, then something recording instruments, then embossed map models which they can touch, they can feel, touch. That's why special appliances also covers magnified glass, particularly for partially sighted students, those who are partially sighted students, magnified glass, then magnified lens we can use, braille. These are the special and some recording instruments. Sometimes in some schools, students are not allowed to take mobile into the classroom. But for them to record what you are teaching, to record, they can use also mobile in the classroom. They can be allowed. If not, recording instruments should be provided to them. If not, they can be allowed to use mobile phone in the classroom so that they can record what you are speaking or what you are teaching in their later in their out of class hour. They can listen to and understand your teaching. That's why these are the aids. And so far as technology is concerned, visual aids will not benefit them. Audio aids can be used instead of video aids. Special teaching learning materials minus visual materials, teaching learning materials can be used for them. That's why, as a teacher, we must be cautious of the use of special teaching learning materials, special appliances, special mode of communication, special mode of evaluation or assessment, how to assess their achievement. They may not write. Then by interview, by oral method, we can assess the pen and pencil test. If we use, it will be difficult on their part. That's why there are different modes of assessment we can use to assess their academic progress. Then let us discuss about hearing impaired children. Again, deaf and dumb students, they have lost their hearing capacity. Some are profound hearing impaired or profound deaf. They are called deaf and dumb. And some have residual hearing capacity. Moderate hearing loss is something moderate. That's why uh, they can listen to you. Uh, if you speak loudly before them, they can listen to you. They can listen to teachers. That's why we must know their nature of hearing impaired children, and their needs and requirements. Mode of communication, which mode should be given? Verbal mode, they cannot listen to, nor they can speak. Due to loss of a hearing capacity, they cannot neither they can neither listen to what you speak, nor they can speak before you. They have lost both speaking as well as language deficiency, speaking and listening capacity. That's why visual mode should be given more importance. Visual mode of communication should be given importance. Auditory mode should not be used. Auditory mode should not be used. If auditory mode, loud voice, but loud voice is not permitted in the classroom. So visual mode of communication should be emphasized as a teacher in the classroom for the benefit of visually impaired, hearing impaired children, deaf and dumb students. Besides that, you can use physical mode. They can observe physical mode, observe, perform, learning by doing method, perform some activities. Visually, hearing impaired children can perform certain activities. Then sign language, body language. We say body language, gesture, posture. You can use smiling while giving reinforcement, smiling through by smiling, gesture, posture, through gesture and posture, sign language, lip reading. That is very necessary. That is essential. And use of special appliances, hearing aids, partially hearing impaired children with the use of hearing aids, they can listen to some extent. That's why special appliances like hearing aids can be, they should know how to use, they should use hearing aids in the classroom. And then writing on the blackboard, printing materials, visual aids, visual teaching learning materials, visual teaching learning aids you can use. It can be graph, pictures, chart, map, and technology, visual clips, visual aids, a technology which deals with visual clips, visual pictures can be used for the benefit of hearing impaired children. Then physical modes, as you know, physical modes activities. They can also do some activities, physical modes, activity-based methods, learning by doing methods. They will be benefited. Performing some tasks, performance of tasks, physical activities, they can perform. Physical programs. They can participate in co-curricular activities related to physical activities. We should arrange, we should use as a teacher for the benefit of those students. That's why, again, I am speaking, inclusive pedagogy does not mean only one method of teaching. Inclusive pedagogy includes variety modes of teaching, variety methods of teaching, skills of teaching. We must be aware of all those things to deal with those students. Then, in the context of dealing with visually impaired children, most important aspect is at the beginning stage, at the entry stage, they should be provided mobility training. Mobility training means train them to locate the location of the classroom, location of the chair, location of the washroom, location of the playground, location of the office, location of the canteen, mobility training, location of the door, location of the window, washing room, bathroom, in a hostel particularly, as well as in the school, washing room, playground, locational training, mobility training, we say, mobility training is required. And for affective support, for the affective support of hearing impaired children, as they can, if we use verbal means of reinforcement, it will not be benefited. They will not be benefited out of the verbal reinforcement technique. Non-verbal means smiling, reinforcement. Suppose some good activities, you can smile, nod your head, nodding head. Visual mode of reinforcement, affective support. It is very, very, very essential on the part of visually impaired, hearing impaired students. Then assessment technique, pen and pencil test, no problem. By the use of pen and pencil test, we can assess their performance, assess their academic progress. So far as social modes of communication is concerned, as we have already discussed, cooperative learning method at present. Cooperative learning method is used at present all over the globe. Previously, teaching learning process was teacher guided and self-learning process. Now, cooperative learning process is used everywhere. So they will be benefited out of cooperative learning methods, group work strategy, then peer teaching. And remember, if you want to use cooperative learning method, divide the entire classroom into small groups consisting of 5 to 6 children with heterogeneity in nature. Heterogeneity means students with different abilities, disabilities, with the different socio-cultural backgrounds can form group. It must not be a homogeneous group. It must be a heterogeneous group. Small 5 to 6 students They should be given tasks. They decide jointly. They discuss themselves and solve the problem or task with discussion with their co-person. That is what cooperative learning is. And it is through cooperative learning, as I have already discussed, new knowledge is constructed. And now we give stress on construction of new ideas and construction of new knowledge, which is only possible through cooperative learning. And those students, hearing impaired students, blind students, physically handicapped students, then scheduled caste students, scheduled tribe students, rich students, poor students, rural background students, urban background students, all will be benefited out of that cooperative learning method. That is why that method can be used for benefit of hearing impaired children, disabled children. We can use cooperative learning method in the classroom. Then, then comes students who have lost their mental functions, as already hinted, learning disabled students or low achievers, slow learners. Slow learners are there, learning disabled are there. They find difficulties in calculation, they find difficulties in reading. Some of them find difficulties in speaking, writing, calculation. They find difficulties in calculation, mathematical calculations, some motor activities, and their memory is very poor, poor memory power, poor understanding power. There are students, but their IQ is better. IQ is more than normal. Even there are some brilliant, even gifted learning disabled students are there whose IQ is more than 145. 1983, Fox found out gifted learning disabled. I mean, whose IQ achievement is very low, but their IQ is more than 145. They face problem in reading. They face problem in reading. They face problem in writing. They face problem in calculation. And some of them have got low adaptive power adjustment. They face adjustment problem in the classroom. Then memory, short memory power, low memory power, sense and hand coordination is very poor. So they can be, it is due to minimal dysfunction of a brain, minimal brain dysfunction. It is due to minimal brain dysfunction. They have been learning disabled, and we must know how to deal with them, in the classroom. Simple to complex, we can use the principle of simple to complex. We should not use difficult vocabularies, difficult words, simple words to explain a thing. Yes, use simple words, simple sentences. Brilliant students may not be benefited out of simple. But remember, multiple ways. Inclusive pedagogy includes multiple ways of teaching. For example, I say, one of my teacher at a graduation level was teaching us English poem written by Wordsworth. He gave one example. Wordsworth was a poet. Wordsworth was a romantic poet. He used third sentence. He used Wordsworth was a romantic poet par excellence. You see, who is Wordsworth? To explain, my teacher at graduation level used three sentences. Wordsworth was a poet. Wordsworth was a romantic poet. Wordsworth was a romantic poet par excellence. Anyway, I am an average student. I understood. I could not understand. I could not understand par excellence. What is par excellence? I understood. Wordsworth was a romantic poet. Slow learner. They understood Wordsworth was a poet. Brilliant students satisfied with the third sentence. Wordsworth was a romantic poet par excellence. This is what inclusive pedagogy is. Way of teaching, simple to complex. Use simple words, simple sentences, and you can also use complex words, complex sentence. The table is, I cannot, table is very weak. I cannot lift it. You see, table is very weak. I cannot lift it. Very simple. Table is so heavy that I cannot lift it. Table is too heavy to be lifted. Table is heavy enough to be lifted. You see, different sentences I used to understand the same concept. Table is so weak, complex sentence I used. Table is so heavy that I cannot lift it. It is a complex sentence. Table is very heavy, so I cannot lift it. Simple sentence. That's why different modes of teaching, different means of teaching, different examples of teaching as a teacher you can use for the benefit of the students with different abilities, disabilities, and with different socio-cultural backgrounds. Particularly learning disabled students, they want simple words, simple sentences. Below average students, slow learners. That's why we should be conscious about these ways of teaching, simple to complex. And second one, the most important principle, that is concrete to abstract, some concrete teaching learning aids, concrete aids, concrete to abstract. If you use concrete teaching learning materials, they can understand it easily, learning disabled. If you use abstract, something abstract words, abstract ways of explanation, they may not understand it. Then experiential learning, as I have already discussed with you. Students experience, give example to deal with difficult concept, give example uh, of the students' experience. What they have experienced with regard to this concept in their area, in their society, in their culture. Cultural experiences, social experiences that the student have experienced already. Take the help of students' experience while dealing with जो difficult word, difficult topic डील करने के लिए आप जो स्टूडेंट का एक्सपीरियंस को अनुभूति लेना चाहिए, स्टूडेंट का बैकग्राउंड नॉलेज इनका एक्सपीरियंस, सोशियो कल्चरल एक्सपीरियंस यूज करना चाहिए। यही है तरीका। The learning by doing method for learning reachable, activity method, then they will be benefited out of all types of uh, uh, reinforcement techniques. It may be physical mode of reinforcement, smiling, nodding your head, or it may be verbal mode of reinforcement, may be very good, good, excellent. They can be benefited out of this. All modes of reinforcement. Psychology, we have to motivate the students. Mind, body, and emotion. Mind should be benefited, emotion, psychology, emotional aspect should be benefited out of affective techniques, praise, reinforcement, written reinforcement, verbal reinforcement, then bodily or physical reinforcement, gesture, posture, smiling, nodding your head. It will motivate the student to progress. You can use all those modes. And teaching learning aids or communication, as I have already discussed with you, all types of communication. It may be visual communication, auditory communication, physical communication, social communication, and all types of teaching learning methods uh, can be used for the benefit of those type of students. But remember, these two principles should be taken, should be given importance while teaching to the students. Number one is simple to complex, and number two is concrete to abstract. They'll be benefited out of it. Then physically handicapped, locomotor handicapped, they'll be benefited out of all modes of teaching, all modes of communication, all modes of reinforcement, all methods of teaching learning process. What they have, they face problem in working. That's why something special arrangements should be made for them. How they should come to the school, how they should go to the hostel. Special arrangements can made. But so far as teaching learning process is concerned, they will be benefited by all modes of communication used for normal students. So, how to deal with these students in our classroom? These are the main important points or techniques which we have discussed on our inclusive pedagogy. Now, let me discuss about universal design for learning. As I have already discussed with you, there is no one or single optimal method of teaching. Universal design model of teaching does not mean one optimal design for all students, because it is based upon the principle of equity. Equity means you have to create experiences in such a way that all students, different types of students will be benefited out of that teaching experiences. It must suit all students. The experience that you have to create must suit all students, needs of all students. May they be learning disabled students, may they be blind students, may they be hearing impaired students, normal students, scheduled caste students, scheduled tribe students. That's why all students should be benefited out of the teaching learning experience that is used in the classroom. And not only that, it must help them to maximize their progress, academic progress. How to maximize their academic progress. All students should be benefited out of it. And at the maximum level, by the name we say universal design model. Perhaps there is only one design which we can use for the benefit of all students. No, gone are the days. Not a single method, not a single technique, not a single teaching learning aids, single ways of reinforcement can be used by a teacher in the classroom. Multiple means of communication, multiple methods of teaching, multiple techniques of teaching, multiple skills of teaching, multiple experiences, multiple methods, experimental method, observational method. That's why universal design for learning includes flexibility and inclusiveness. Flexibility, flexible. There is no rigid method, only one or and final method. Flexible methods. You must be flexible, taking into the needs and expectations of the students in the classroom. Coming from different socio-cultural background with different abilities and disabilities. You must change the method of teaching. You must use different modes of communication. You must change the technique of teaching. You must use varieties of teaching aids which will suit each and every learner. That is why we must break the rigidity that is there in our mind. This program has been conducted to refine your attitude and develop a positive attitude to deal with students in an inclusive classroom, as well as deal with students with multicultural classroom, both inclusive and multicultural classroom. We face, as a teacher in a Navodaya Vidyalaya, we face multicultural classroom, as well as we face inclusive classroom. That's why you are here to develop positive attitude to deal with the students in a multicultural classroom as well as in a inclusive classroom. That's why challenging the role. Our role is very challenging. We take challenging role as a teacher. But we must be flexible, as I have already discussed that day. Some of the teachers feel that I know everything, students know nothing. That is a rigid-minded teachers. Teachers are Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. Students know nothing. I know everything. That is a rigid mentality. We must break down that rigid mentality. And our role is to create opportunities. How to create opportunities for the benefit of all students. And knowledge is created by the students, not by the teacher. We have to create opportunities, and we have to create opportunities in such a way that new knowledge will be generated by the students themselves. That is what learning is. That is what present day education system is. Knowledge is not to be acquired by the students, rather knowledge should be created, generated by the students themselves. Our role is to provide or create opportunities, different opportunities. Facilitate. We have to facilitate learning. We mediate. We should play the role of a mediator. We should play the role of a facilitator, negotiator, provider of, we should play the role of a provider of opportunities. That is what our role is. Our role is not to dance on the stage. Our role is not to play the role of hero and villain on the stage. We must be flexible. That's why flexible modes of assessment, flexible modes of communication, flexible ways of providing reinforcement, flexible techniques of teaching. We must be flexible in using techniques, flexible examples. It may be simple examples, complex examples. So flexible ways of providing examples to the students. Difficult concept, flexible, different examples, simple to complex examples. Use as a teacher. That is what universal design of learning means. The next one is universal design for learning includes use of space appropriately. How to use space in the classroom appropriately. Sitting arrangement of the students in the classroom. Which students should sit on the back benches? Which students should sit in the front lines, back lines, front benches, back benches? You should arrange, take into the consideration of disabilities. Where blind students will sit, where deaf and dumb students will sit, where physically handicapped students will sit. You see, seat arrangement, space arrangement. Then where teaching learning materials will be kept so that it can be easily accessible to the students. Where it should be kept, teaching learning materials. Where blackboards should be kept. Where computer, technology, audio visual aids, communication technologies, information and communication technologies, audio, video, these equipments, where it should be kept. It is very essential, and you should appropriately use the space. Watch in the classroom. At which side? In the front side or in the back side of the student? What should be then different pictures? In which place of the wall? Maps. If you want to draw maps, how to draw maps, how to hang maps, at which place? Maps will be hung so that it will be visible to all students in the classroom. That is use of space appropriately. Adequate space for assistive devices, teaching learning aids. You have to take care of all those things. Then comes simplicity, as I have already discussed with you. Universal design model, universal design for learning model based upon the principle of simplicity. Already I have discussed simple to complex. Simplicity. It is not something complex. Simple, simplicity. Avoid unnecessary complexities. Some teachers use difficult words, bombastic words, as if they know everything, knowledgeable. They pose themselves as a knowledgeable before the students. No, unnecessary complexity. Don't use complex words, difficult words, unnecessary. Don't make your teaching learning complex. Then breaking down the instruction to small steps and arrange your teaching learning process sequentially. What should be taught first? What should be taught second, next? Which sentence should be uttered in the beginning, at the middle, at last? Arrange. That is, break down the complexities of the content into simplicity and arrange with the small steps in order of difficulties, simple to difficulties. That is that is that can ensure effective teaching, effective learning, so that every student will understand you, every student will appreciate your teaching, every student will be satisfied with your teaching learning process, so that you can claim yourself as an effective teacher. Teachers are not born, remember, teachers are made. Previously, that was the concept. Teachers are very good, teachers are born. I cannot be a very good teacher. That is gone. I can be a very good teacher. Everybody can be a very good teacher. Quality teacher, effective teachers are not born. Effective teachers can be made. I can be an effective teacher. That's why, with that mentality, we should act in the classroom so that students will be satisfied with our teaching. Then providing feedback during learning. I have already discussed with you, reinforcement feedback should be provided during learning. Praise to motivate the student. Very good. Smile, nodding your head. Frequently you have to use in the classroom. It is very important skill of teaching. That is what universal design for learning demands from you. Then comes safety, safetyness. Physical safetyness includes physical safetyness. You must ensure physical safetyness of the students. Life is very important. Life of the student is very important. Safety of the student is very important. Physical safetyness in the classroom, outside the classroom, in the hostel, outside the classroom, outside the hostel, in the playground, in the library, in the laboratory, then in the canteen, everywhere that universal design for learning should ensure safetyness on the part of the student. Physically, physical safetyness should be ensured. Not only physical safetyness, also emotional safetyness. Psychologically, they should not feel any fear. Students should not feel any fear, anxiety, tension. That is what we say. Physical, 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 emotional safetyness. We must ensure both physical and emotional safetyness on the part of the students. And as I have already discussed with you, how to ensure safetyness, love and respect. Be student friendly. As a teacher, you must be student friendly. Already discussed informal discussion with the students so that they will feel safety, emotional safety, social safetyness, emotional safetyness, and physical safetyness. You must ensure. Then caring of the student and encouraging students should be encouraged. They should be taken care of. Environment must be safe environment and it must be positive environment. That should, it must be free from environment, must be free from fear, tension, anxiety, stress. That is what universal design for learning is. So, universal design for learning ensures safetyness. And let me discuss about the different designs, learning designs at present used by the teachers all over the globe. I will discuss two most important designs of learning used all over the globe. Already discussed with you, gone are the days when design of learning was based upon the behavioristic theories of learning. Behavioristic model we were using in 20th century, behavioristic model. Introduction, presentation, evaluation, or application. These are the steps we are following while preparing a lesson plan to teach students in the classroom. Introduction, objectives, general objectives, specific learning objectives, and some introductory questions to test the background knowledge of the student. Then presentation, step, third step, application step, or evaluation step. These are the three steps. Herbartian, we say, modified Herbartian steps we are using to prepare lesson plans or learning, teaching learning process was based upon the behavioristic approach of teaching, behavioristic theories of learning, teaching. Law of exercise, drilling was given more importance. Law of exercise, drilling, practicing, memorization of facts, that were given more importance. While teaching, we are drilling. Again, repeatedly, repetition. These were given trace, behavioristic model. Now, we use constructivist strategies. Constructivist strategy. Under constructivist strategies, everywhere teachers use 5E models of teaching. You know, you are aware of those 5 steps, which starts with English letter E. First one is engage. First step, that is engage, because we use these models for construction of knowledge, not for acquisition of knowledge. How students will construct knowledge on their own. So we use 5B model. First step, we engage the students. We give some activities and engage them to do some activities. As I have already told you, we are the provider of opportunities. We have to provide opportunities so that students should be engaged doing certain tasks. Then when they will be engaged, second step is they should explore. Second step is explore something out of engage. And precondition is cooperative learning. Remember, before that, we have to divide students into small groups consisting of 5 to 6 children or students. That is the precondition. When they work together jointly, they can explore. Second step is they can explore something new. Then while exploring something new, third step is before others, before other groups, they should be invited to explain what they explore. First group leader will be invited to explain what they explore. Second group leader will be invited and they should be asked to explore what they should be asked to explain. Third step is explain. Explain before others. Fifth group student leader will be invited. Sixth group student leader, seventh group students leader. One by one, leaders of the group will be invited to explain before other groups what they explored. First step is engagement or engage. Second one is explore. Third one is explain. Then out of explanation, while they will be explaining something, during that time, after explanation by one group, then other group will be requested to argue, to make counter argument, to participate in a discussion. They can challenge the views of first group. Likewise, the process will continue. Argument, counter argument. Okay. Then next step, after explanation is over, that session is discussion is over. Discussion, arguments, counter arguments, wrestling, fighting with the ideas, wrestling with the ideas. Then something more will be explored. So next step is elaboration. As a teacher, you should initiate elaboration. What emerged out of that discussion in an elaborative way as a teacher, or synthesize what ideas, new ideas emerged out of the discussion, explanation, then it should be elaborated. That is the fourth step. Last one is evaluation. Lastly, you have to assess the student performance in that particular topic or in that particular context. Assessment, evaluation. That 5V model starts with engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluation. It is used. It is comparatively. This model is comparatively easy model. That's why it is preferred by almost all teachers. Remember, and another model, that is icon design model. That is the model a little bit difficult, but icon design model has been hinted in National Curricular Framework prepared by National Curricular Framework 2005, prepared by NCERT, New Delhi. Icon design model is given in that National Curricular Framework 2005. 5 model is not there. It will better model, icon design model is better model for construction of knowledge by the students in the classroom. Little bit difficult model. Nothing is difficult. Nothing is difficult. That first model includes 5 steps. Second, icon design model interpretation construction. Icon stands for interpretation construction design model. It consists of 8 steps. First step is, as a teacher, you have to create situation. Creation of situation. That is your role. Your role is, as I have already discussed, you are a provider of opportunities. Here, you have to create situations. The situation must be lively situation or lifelike situation. Real situation you can create, or it is a lifelike situation. You can use audio, video, technology, computer, visual clips. By using visual clips, audio, visual aids, or technology, computer, nowadays computer is used, technology, you can create situation and let the students observe that situation. You are a facilitator. Let them, what they will mark, what they will observe. You have to provide hints. You are the provider of hints, clues. You have to provide clues, hints. That is your role. Create situation, let the student to observe. Second step is observation. Students should. Again, the precondition is cooperative learning method. Remember, 5E model. It may be 5E model or it may be icon design model. But the precondition is cooperative learning method. So let the students sit in different groups. Okay, divide students into different groups. Let the student discuss with the members or other students of the group, and they let them observe what they observe, and let the student interpret. Third step is interpretation construction. Interpretation construction. As I have already discussed with you, there is no single answer to a particular question or single explanation to a particular stanza. There can be multiple answers, there can be multiple explanations, there can be multiple interpretations. Remember that. There is no single answer to a particular question. There are multiple answers to a particular question. There is no single explanation to a particular stanza. There are multiple interpretations to a particular stanza. Then, as a teacher, we have to provide hints which will facilitate students to interpret what they observed. First, creation of situation, let them observe, then let them interpret. But at every stage, you have to provide some hints, clues, what they should observe, how they should interpret. Some hints you have to provide as a teacher. Then contextualization. Next step is contextualization. Contextualization here, all those 3 steps I have already discussed: the situation, observation, and interpretation construction are based upon the background experiences of the students. Background societal experiences. Situation must be from their societal experiences, and whatever situation, which situation you have to create, taking into the topic that you are going to deal. Topic related situation should be created based upon students' experiences, background knowledge of the student, or may not be background knowledge of the student, something new through pictures, through audio clips, situation you can create, and you have to provide hints to students to observe and make interpretations. Then contextualization. Then they will come to the textbook. Whatever observation they made and what is there in their text, they should relate. Contextualization. Text and context. Here the context is situation and context is observation of the situation. Context is interpretation construction. Next step is contextualization, means textual knowledge, what is there in the textbook, in that textbook, should be related with the situation which you have created in the classroom before the students. Relate. Text and context should be related. That is known as contextualization. The next step is cognitive apprenticeship. Here you have to, for contextualization, as a teacher, you have to provide support, scaffolding. As one participant asked one question, scaffolding. Your support is necessary at this step, cognitive apprenticeship. How better you can contextualize? You have to provide some hints, clues, opportunities, give them some hints so that they can contextualize in a better way. Text and context. And after context, cognitive apprenticeship is the next step. Cognitive apprenticeship, collaboration, as I have already discussed, collaboration, collaborative learning method, that is, they will discuss in the groups with their friends one by one. Then they will be invited. Group leader will be invited. Then for multiple interpretation. Next step is multiple interpretation. One group has made some interpretations. Second group has made different interpretations. They will be invited. They will present their interpretations before others. Third group will present their interpretations. That is called, this step is called multiple interpretation stage. Fourth group, interpretations. Then there will be discussion, debate, discussion, arguments, counter arguments. Remember, you should initiate arguments, counter arguments, discussion, debate, fighting with the ideas. In this step, multiple interpretation. Last one is multiple manifestation. This is the step. Finally, final step is multiple manifestation. In this step, new knowledge will be created. New knowledge, new ideas will be created. Multiple manifestation. That's model, that is called icon design model. And icon design model consists of 8 steps. First one is, again, I am repeating. First one is situation. Second one is observation. Third one is interpretation construction. Fourth one is cognitive apprenticeship. Then fourth one is contextualization. Fourth, interpretation construction, contextualization, then cognitive apprenticeship, then collaboration, then multiple interpretations. Last step is multiple manifestations. This is all about icon design model, which is used by teachers to deal with students all over the globe. And that these two models, as a teacher, we can use now in our classroom for construction of knowledge. Acquisition of knowledge is not given more importance. Memorization of fact, memorization of information is not given importance nowadays. Nowadays, we give stress on development of critical thinking. Remember, development of application ability. evaluation ability, decision-making ability, problem-solving ability, creativity, divergent thinking ability, analysis ability, synthesis ability, how to develop those abilities so that new knowledge will be created. And main principle, it consists of whatever model or design we may use, it must consist of mostly three principles: constructivist pedagogy or inclusive pedagogy must be based upon three important principles, that is, differentiate content, differentiate process, and differentiate product. In other words, context, content, process, and product. Content knowledge, what is there in the textbook, content, topic, main ideas, main principles in the topic, formula, main ideas, main principles, what is there in the content of the textbook, content. And content should be differentiated. Content analysis, we say, before going to prepare a lesson plan or before going to deal with the students on that particular student, teacher must do some homework, analyze the content. Content should be analyzed. Simplicity, abstractness, what are the abstract things given in the textbook or on this, in this topic? How it can be reduced to simplicity? What are the simple words? So complexities, complex ideas, what it can be, how it can be dealt, how it can be made simple in the classroom, so that we have to make content analysis, how to motivate the student, which learning strategies will be used, which example will be given, which methods of teaching I can use, what are the teaching learning aids or teaching learning materials I can use to deal with this content. You have to analyze the content to know first the difficultiness of the content, simplicity of the content, varieties of techniques which can be used, how, what type of teaching learning aids will be used, what type of situation can be created in the classroom, what type of hints can be given to the students, what type of opportunities or experiences can be given to the students so that everybody can understand. That's why, according to the readiness of the students, interest of the students, you must think about the content, differentiate content. Which examples should be given for understanding of disabled learners, visually impaired students? Which example, which aids, teaching learning materials will be used for hearing impaired students, slow learners, upper standard learners, gifted students? See, you have to, as a teacher, you have to analyze content and differentiate content according to the interest and readiness of the students, experience of the student. That is your task, preparation, preparatory task. Question was asked me in one interview. Should a teacher prepare himself before going to take class? Should a teacher prepare himself before going to take class? My answer was, gone are the days when teaching was an art, now teaching is a science. Gone are the days when teachers were born, now teachers are made. So each and everybody can be a successful teacher if he or she goes on thorough preparation, thorough training, thorough preparation. That's why teacher must prepare himself before going to take class. That was my answer. And all were satisfied with my answer. The members of the interview board were satisfied with my answer. Question was, should a teacher prepare himself before going to take class? That was the question. That's why you have to analyze the content. Content analysis should be done. Which aids teaching material should be used, which maps should be used, charts should be used, pictures should be used, experimental or observation method should be used, activity-based method should be used. Which method, which techniques, which examples? You have to make content analysis, remember. So differentiate content, differentiate what you, how you should analyze the content, taking into the interest of the student, taking into the background experience of the student, readiness of the students. You have to analyze content and reduce complexity, how complexity of the content can be reduced. Then next one is differentiate process. Process means teaching learning process. As I have already discussed, pedagogy, different methods of teaching. While teaching, which method should be used? Which skills should be used? Which techniques should be used? Strategies, techniques, skills, reinforcement. Okay. Which methods? Problem solving or project method? Different activities. Which activities should be used? Which methods? Which reinforcement techniques? That's why process should be differentiated. Which process of teaching will benefit, or by which process of teaching hearing impaired students will be benefited? By which process of teaching blind students will be benefited? Urban area students will be benefited. Rural area students will be benefited. Hindu students will be benefited. Muslim students will be benefited. See, you have to use, this will be very much conscious about the process of teaching is very important. Then last one is differentiate product. Product means what students achieved, achievement of the students, performance of the student, product. Then so far as product assessment of product is concerned, we have to use different techniques of assessment, different tests. It can be verbal test, it can be non-verbal test, it can be performance test. It can be interview. Through interview, we can test oral test, written test, observation techniques, rating scale, checklist, multiple rubric, portfolio evaluation, varieties of techniques of assessment are there. So differentiate product means different assessment techniques. We must know to assess the product. That is what inclusive pedagogy is. That is what different universal design for learning is. That is what constructivist strategies of learning is. As a teacher, we must be thorough about these strategies, these techniques to deal with the students in a multicultural, inclusive classroom. To deal with the students with the different abilities and disability, and students coming from different socio-cultural background. This is all about today's deliberation. If you have any doubt now, 15 minutes is left for discussion. If you have any doubt, you can ask questions to clarify your doubts.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt.
No.
Any doubt you can put. No doubt. You are saying no doubt. Anybody? Please. Devendra, have you any doubt? Anita, Priti, I find those names in the screen.
So which method is more applicable for us nowadays?
You see, that is again rigidity of mind. Be flexible.
Okay.
There is no single method. I have already made clear that
Okay.
we must not be rigid in using a single method for all. And
Okay.
single method cannot be used. Single method. We cannot use a single method.
It means
Think
we
about,
have to use according to the situation.
yes, what situation demands, what students demands, how
Okay.
students will be satisfied,
Okay.
which technique I have to use. I should break that rigidity in mind.
Okay.
Rigid mind, I must be flexible. A successful teacher is he who is flexible in using different methods, different techniques according to the demand of the situation. Don't ask me a single method, ask me multiple methods, multiple
Okay.
techniques. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Anybody? Any question? Very good question. Very good question. That should be discussed. Your queries, your doubts should be discussed. Then you understood that according to the demand of the situation, I should use the various techniques, skills, examples according to the need of the student, so that everybody will be benefited. Blind student will be benefited. Deaf and dumb students will be benefited.
Yes.
Different students with the different abilities, multiple abilities, 8 type of students. So far as abilities are concerned, graphical abilities, science abilities, mathematical abilities, interpersonal, intrapersonal ability students, then verbal ability students, all types of students will be benefited out of my teaching.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody? That is
No,
what
sir.
inclusive pedagogy is. Inclusive pedagogy means varieties of methods, varieties of techniques, varieties of assessment techniques also we can use to assess the product.
Yes.
A variety of techniques during process of teaching, differentiated process, differentiated content. Okay.
Yes.
Any question? No question.
No, sir.
Should you stop?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, others? You are only speaking yes, sir, no more. Okay, okay.
Sir, what are you going to teach us tomorrow?
Tomorrow I will teach. Tomorrow I will teach, but day after tomorrow they have given me, but I have told me to change that day after tomorrow. Tomorrow I will teach, but day after tomorrow I will be busy for my own personal work. I have told them to change. Or
Okay.
I'll say, tomorrow I will give some information. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let us go. Thank you.
Good night.